Welcome to Doing Life Deliberately. My name is Trisha, and today I'm going to give you my top 10 tips for how to educate multiple kids. In no particular order, I'm going to give you my tips. The first thing I would say is consider your children's needs. If you have toddlers, infants, or preschoolers, you may want to consider giving them a little bit of time first. Sometimes, and someone else gave me this tip, if you are able to give your tiniest ones a little bit of attention first, like reading them a book or playing a game with them, they may be a little more willing to share mom later on when you're teaching the older kids school. So give your little ones just a little bit of time before you begin educating your older kids. Another tip I would give you is to set up a schedule and clearly communicate it with your school-age children. You can do this in multiple ways. You can create a schedule and stick it on the wall for them to see. You can print out a schedule and stick it in their assignment book, or maybe post it at their desk, or place it in the middle of the table if you share a table for school. But this way, everybody knows exactly what is expected in the way of when they're supposed to move on to the next subject. And this is particularly helpful if you are helping one child and your other kids, maybe they finish up a subject and they're not sure what they should move on to. If you've got a schedule right there, it just tells them what's coming next. So having a schedule that is clearly communicated can be extremely helpful. Another way that you can help your kids when you are educating multiple children is to let them know when you're not in school, but let them know maybe at the dinner table or during a family meeting or some other time outside of school, what the boundaries are for when to approach mom or dad when they're teaching. For example, maybe you want your kids to just tap you on the shoulder lightly to let you know that they need help when you're already helping another student. Or maybe you want to not have them approach you at all when you're teaching another student, and you have a designated time when you will help them with anything that they didn't understand or they need clarity on. There's lots of different ways that you can handle this, but if you clearly communicate those boundaries outside of class time, that will make your day go a lot smoother. And don't expect them to understand the first time. You'll have to gently remind them over and over again, these are the boundaries. This is when you can ask mommy for help. This is when you can ask daddy for help. And I will come and help you at this time. Teach your kids to be independent. Now, clearly, the independence of a kindergartner versus the independence of a sophomore in high school is going to be vastly different. But what I mean by this is, over the years, think about and gradually increase their independence. Teach them how to use different resources, whether it is using the textbook lesson, whether it is a computer lesson, whether it is looking things up in the dictionary, or whether it is using an encyclopedia. There's lots of different ways in the academic setting to become independent and resourceful. Another way that you can teach them independence is with snacks and meals. I mean, let's face it, as a parent, you're going to constantly get interrupted during the day. Mom, I'm hungry. Mom, I'm hungry. So give them a snack drawer, or give them a snack area where they can go on their own, and maybe you even designate a time, but they can go on their own and get a snack that's okay with mom. They don't have to interrupt. They don't have to ask. They just know exactly where to go to get it. Maybe you teach them how to make sandwiches so that when they've completed their morning work and they're ready for lunch, they know exactly what to do to go get the bread, go get the meat, go get the cheese, or make peanut butter and jelly, and they can reach the plates. You've given them the tools, whether it's, actually educating them on how to make the sandwich, or whether it's just, showing them where everything is. But that creates independence, and it lets you focus maybe on one individual student, or maybe you have chores in a day to do, like laundry or dishes or whatever. But those little steps along the way of increasing their independence will make educating multiple children so much easier. Another tip for educating multiple students is to utilize your oldest children. This can be so cool, and it can be a bonding moment for your kids. Have your older kids teach your younger kids. It is amazing to me how the younger students will pick up things from the older students. And sometimes they're way more excited to learn from an older brother or sister than they are from mom or dad. So have older students that have already gone through this material teach your younger students, and that will free you up to focus on another child. I have actually done this in our home with grammar. Our grammar curriculum that we use is actually, the teacher just reads basically a script. And so my oldest daughter would read the script to my son, and let me not tell you, it's not a perfect solution. There's fighting at times, but on the whole, it went really, really well. And it was a great review for her because it was material that she had not been through in 3 or 4 years. So use your older kids to help teach the younger kids. It will be good for both of them. Do some subjects together. So one of the things that I love about being able to homeschool is that I can take all these different grades and ages and put them together, and we can still learn together. We do this for Bible, we do this for history, we do this for art and music, and it has been delightful. I mean, they're at different levels, and so they will do different levels of work. So for example, as we do history together, I will read their history lesson out loud, or maybe I'll have one of them read out loud a section of their history lesson. But then I will have them do a narration of what I read. So for my 3rd grader, I'll have her write 3 sentences. For my 5th grader, I'll have him write 5 sentences. For my 7th grader, I'll have her write 7 sentences, and so on. So the level of work is a little bit different for each of them, but we're all learning together. And it's great because when they ask questions, everyone benefits. When we have discussions, everyone benefits. And so even later on in the day at the dinner table, sometimes we'll be able to have a great discussion on what we're learning in school because we learned it together. So do some schooling together. If you have tiny little ones, preschool and younger, take some time from your older students to have them help and entertain your younger children. Maybe it's playtime, maybe it's reading out loud, and that's great practice for them too. If they are learning to read or they're in grade school level, to be able to practice inflections in their voice, and to be able to just sit quietly with a sibling and have that bonding time. But have your older kids play with your younger kids, read aloud to them, maybe color with them, play Play-Doh with them. But that one-on-one time will be bonding for them, and it will help, again, to distract your younger ones so that you can focus on teaching a subject with the other one. And it might take time for your littlest ones to get used to that, but it will be a routine that develops over time. So give yourself grace, and you can build that kind of routine up over time. Employ technology helps. What I mean by this is that you can use CD-ROMs, you can use web-based programs, you can use software, you can use apps on your tablets. All of those things can be helpful aids in the schoolroom that may help, again, free up time so that you can focus on one particular student. A couple ways that we do this in our home is we use Rosetta Stone for Spanish. And so the kids will each take time or turns during the day doing their Spanish on the computer, and I just rotate the computer between them. Another thing that we do is we use an app called Extra Math, where the kids will practice their math addition, their math facts, where the kids will practice their math facts, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, based on their grade level, based on their mastery of it. And it takes about 10 minutes a day, but they look forward to that too. It's kind of like a little race as they master those math facts, and it's a good time for them. So that's another way that you can free up your time to focus on one student while another student is working on one of those pieces of technology. Another way that you can educate multiple kids is by utilizing area co-ops and enrichment programs. Sometimes mom just needs a little help with teaching a subject. Sometimes you just want to be able to socialize your kids, and it gives you a little break as a mom or dad. But you can use enrichment programs, or you can do a co-op with another family or more. One way that we have done this is in the past few years, we have done a science lab with another family. We meet with them every other week, and we would get to the end of a lesson or a chapter, and all together we would do a science project or a lab experiment. And the kids would review the chapter, we'd have fun in an activity, and then they'd play together. And it was just a great time of socializing, a great time of reviewing and solidifying concepts that we had learned. And it was just good fellowship for everyone. So I highly encourage work with other families, or find an area enrichment program that you can plug into to supplement what you were doing in homeschool. Last but not least, give your kids time to run and play. It's hard sitting down all day. And it's hard for mom and hard for dad too. So give your kids time and freedom. Give them a break every now and then. Maybe it's even an unscheduled break. We tend to be a little more scheduled in our homeschool, but not everybody works that way. So give your kids a break now and then. Let them go in the basement. Let them run outside. Let them do a pickup game on the fly with some friends. I need to be reminded often that homeschool should be fun. Fun does not necessarily come easily for me, but it is necessary for them to just have some free time to decompress and run and play. Just like mom and dad at the end of a work day, kids need that too. So give your kids time to run and play. Well, thanks for joining us today. I hope that this was helpful. If you found it to be interesting and you enjoyed it, or you know someone else who could benefit from it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you be part of our community. And feel free to comment below any questions you have, or any ideas that you have that maybe would also be helpful tips for others. We would love to hear from you. Thanks, guys.